What up? Marsh Pod coming at you on a Wednesday night in the aftermath of yesterday's final regular season game. We talked this morning with Sniper J about the three latest conference championship games that got decided. Some of that might be repeats here today, but we are going through all 8, something like that, conference championship games, picking the winners for each one in order of when they get rolling. That starts Thursday night with what should be an exciting American conference. So let's dive right in. Start right there. Memphis playing host to Jackson State. What do you like about Jackson State? Well, they've been one of the hottest teams in college basketball, a team that won, I think, at 1.8 straight games before they lost to Houston in their final. D. Woodley's been playing great. He's been flirting with triple-doubles. He has been Conference Player of the Week, borderline National Player of the Week at this point. The biggest question for this team is their defense. Will they be able to hold up? It's a good offense. It's not a good defense, really, at all. Meanwhile, Memphis, they've got the best player on the floor in Lacedarius Outlaw, top 10, top 15 pick in the upcoming draft. Whatever Jackson State can do, Memphis can do better. They've got a better offense. They've got a better defense. They've got shooters. They've got a guy who, if you like Lacedarius Outlaw, you probably think D. Woodley is the poor man's version of him, right? They both can get downhill, score in the paint. D. Woodley doesn't score in the paint as well as Lacedarius Outlaw does. Lacedarius Outlaw shoots better from deep. I think he's a more explosive athlete and less headaches when you're dealing with Lacedarius Outlaw. But that's a problem for the next level. So who am I taking? I'm taking Memphis, home team that's been playing really well. Jackson State, they were bound to lose eventually. I honestly think losing to Houston was a good thing if you're looking at their prospects for Hoopsteria. I have no rhyme or reason for this. I've said this many times before. I don't love it when a team is red hot going into conference championship weekends and national tournaments. I just don't. That I don't mean to say I don't think they can win, but if you're on a 10-game winning streak, an 8-game winning streak going into conference play, it's really hard to win what would have to be 15 games in a row. And Houston beat Jackson State, so there's no way for Jackson State to win 15. But it's really hard to win 15 games in a row. So I honestly think, just thinking of it logistically, Jackson State losing to Houston and now what I think they'll lose to Memphis is a good omen for them moving forward. Let's head to the Mountain West where we get a rematch, San Diego State, UNLV. They split the regular season, home team winning in each of these. UNLV, they've got the two best players in this game. They've got a really great offense. Nat Hawkins, Jarrell Beauchamp are fantastic scorers, fantastic athletes. San Diego State's a little inconsistent. Their offense is cumbersome. They really want to slow the game down, play with a slow pace, get into defensive matchups, and just beat you with team ball as opposed to star ball. And more often than not in college basketball, that really does prevail. But I don't know that San Diego State's their common denominator of player, it doesn't reach above what's the common denominator for UNLV, right? Why do star-led teams in college basketball not win national championships? It's because if the star's up here and the rest of the roster is right here, right? Well, if the star, and I'm using my hands for those listening, star well above the rest of the roster, but if the rest of the roster is so far below the other rest of the roster that you're going up against, that's the challenge. I don't think that's the case for UNLV. That's why I have them winning. Nat Hawkins, Jarrell Beauchamp are much better than everything that San Diego State can throw at them. I think this turns into if it can turn into an offensive track meet, which is what UNLV is going to want to do, that favors the Red Rebels. Let's head to the Big East, Georgetown and Villanova. Georgetown, how about this one? 2-0 against the Wildcats this season. Everything points to the Wildcats, though, being the better team. Except when they play. They've got the better star, they've got the better roster, they've got the better track record, they've been more consistent in Villanova than it has been in Georgetown. And yet, despite that, the Hoyas, 2-0. And if you remove Georgetown, though, this 2-6 stretch that they had in the middle of the season, they're one of the best teams in college basketball. I think 2 losses, right? 2 or 3 losses outside of that stretch. So for that reason, I don't know why I'm picking them, but I'm taking the Georgetown Hoyas over the Villanova Wildcats. Now, the counterpoint would be, look, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. And that's what Georgetown would have to do to get this one. But Georgetown looks unafraid of this Villanova team, and that's why I'll take the Hoyas. Let's head to the Big 12. Kansas and Texas going at it in Lawrence, Kansas. Kansas, the win that they had against Texas mid-conference season, I thought, and I've said this before, was the turning point of their season. Really erupted the Nas Hall. It's not a resurrection, but the arrival of him in the second half of the season. I'm really concerned about what does Texas do with Arthur Lattimore isn't on his game. And what's been so dominant about this Kansas team as of late is that they've been not only relying on Nas Hall, but they've also been able to rely pretty heavily on Madison Miles. And Texas does not have the Madison Miles to the Nas Hall or the Nas Hall to the Madison Miles if you're looking at Arthur Lattimore. There's not bad players on this Texas roster, but what Kansas has done the second half of the season, they might be the best team in college basketball. They've been very consistent. Their offense has been really good. Their defense has been really good. So for that reason, I'm taking Kansas in the Big 12 championship game. Head to the SEC, Kentucky and Alabama. Home team 2-0 in this series. So they split the regular season series. I haven't been on the Bama train all season long, and I don't really have a great reason. They don't strike a lot of the chords, and I said this to Sniper. I look at college basketball with a SWBA lens that doesn't lend well to my viewpoint, where typically the better player, the better team wins. It's not always the case in college basketball, right? Better team, deeper team tends to win. We just talked about it. Alabama is the deeper team. They've got more pieces. They don't have a superstar, though Quincy Henderson and Dwan Epps could be. They've been playing really good, and you can make the argument, well, look, Alabama has more chefs in the kitchen. That's why they don't have the gaudy numbers that Glory Tate and Jamison Johnson do. But Jamison Johnson and Glory Tate are still the two best players in this series. And I think there's a real case that you could look. We'll look back in a couple years and we might say, Adonis Knight, this kid can ball. And he might be better than Dwayne Epps, better than Quincy Henderson. So I'm going to go Kentucky on the road in this one. I picked them to win a national championship. That is sitting in the back of my mind on all of this because I kind of feel like my train has left the wagon, or the train has left the station. I have picked Kentucky. I kind of feel an obligation to continue doing it, despite maybe my better judgment. I haven't believed in Alabama, despite my better judgment. Maybe all that means is that Alabama's going to win. I'm still taking the Wildcats. All right. Head to our back half, Big Ten, Minnesota and Purdue, the most unenthusiastic conference championship game. I talked about this already, but this is a team with the best team not in the conference championship game. I am taking the Gophers. I took them this morning. They have Don Lefetti. Again, my biases continue to show up. If you got the better team or the better player, I'm taking you. But I also think Minnesota has the better team. Purdue has been kind of up and down. I still don't know what the Big Ten is. Do we have a really good Big Ten? Or because they had 3 teams at 8-6, and I think 4 that finished at 7-7. So is the Big Ten really good, or is the Big Ten just really mediocre, beating up on everybody? I'm taking the Gophers. ACC, Duke, and Virginia Tech. I'm taking Duke because Virginia Tech, again, they have every single piece that you should think that's good to beat Duke. But I still just don't want to bet against Cooper Flagg, and I think that's going to be the case for him as he makes his move next season, after next season, right, into SWBA. And the Pac-12, Utah, UCLA, everything about this one. If this is a track meet, UCLA is going to win it. Their offense is better. Utah does not have the firepower to match them, but if Utah can slow this thing down, that's their pathway to winning this thing, is if you can play a slow-paced game against the UCLA Bruins. But in Los Angeles, I am taking UCLA. All right. We're back tomorrow morning with SimWorld Today to break down more basketball. The SWBA postseason rolls on as the Rockets and Warriors will play tonight. I don't need to explain everything to you. There's stuff going down. We're back tomorrow morning on SimWorld Today on SimWorld TV. Appreciate you tuning in.